Next guy up is one that I am going to start throwing things in my room about because I am frustrated. And Tom, I don't know what you're going to even tell us, but Bijan Robinson, who I've never seen this before, was questionable going into yesterday, and it said headache, as we all know what happened on Sunday. Now he seems like a full participant. Can you give us any medical insight on this? Like, what, Tom, what the hell happened on Sunday, man?
Well, let me ask you this. Are you someone who ever gets headaches?
Not unless I'm hungover or dehydrated. So
Yeah.
not normally,
Yeah.
no.
So, as somebody who has had hundreds of brutal headaches in their life, you can't do shit when it's really bad. So, I I know it's annoying. I believe me, I know. And they should have told us something. That's the issue that everybody has, is that we didn't know anything. But from a medical standpoint, I mean, I totally see why he didn't play. Like, when you get these bad headaches, for a lot of people, light sensitivity, miserable, loud noises, miserable, quickly changing your head position,
Yeah.
miserable. And sometimes there's even associated like weakness with it. Like, you can't create force from your muscles like that. So there is a medical explanation here. What there isn't an explanation for is why the hell they didn't tell us. And I guess they still dressed him either as a decoy. If you remember from the '96 Super Bowl, Terrell Davis dealt with a migraine and he was just out there as a decoy. I believe it was in the second half that it came on. Um, or maybe they gave him some medication and hoped that the headache would subside by some point in the game and he could play. But it's frustrating because we didn't know. Everybody started him, got 0 points or not many points, and it's
Point
really,
three, Tom. 0.3.
yeah. But like, medically, I get it though.
Yeah. Is this, so you say headache? Is this like a migraine? Is it a silly question? Is it like a migraine situation or like
It could have
just
been.
kind
We don't know. It could have been. I mean, there's a lot of people in this world that suffer from migraines that
of
are
sure?
very legit and very debilitating and
Yeah.
often very unpredictable when they're going to come on.
Thank you for clearing that up, man. I get it. I'm not mad at Bijan at all. He's a human being, and if he deals with chronic headaches or whatever it is, that's seriously totally fine. I've been so firmly on the Bijan train, like I'm not getting off, but I do have a couple gripes or grievances, so to say, with this. It's just, to me, it's just sketchy. And not that I don't believe that he didn't have a headache, but I saw him messing around, having a great time, all smiles, all videos pregame, like signing autographs, smiling, talking to fans. His post-game interview, I know they come on, they come off, fair. Post-game interview, smiling. It's not reported at all because Arthur Smith, I am furious with. He even played like random snaps throughout the game. He came in with the game on the line, took one carry for 3 yards and left. Like, I just don't understand it. And my beef with this too, Tom, let me cook for a minute here if you don't mind. It's Arthur Smith. I don't know. Do you watch any of the
Yeah.
interviews that he does,
Yeah.
man? Like, it's
Yeah.
his
It's bad.
ignorance, his arrogance, the condescending way that he deals with the press. I wrote some quotes down. He says all the time, quote, "I don't care for fantasy football. I don't think about it for a second." But clearly, Arthur Smith does think about it because he can't stop mentioning it. Every single interview, he talks about it. This week, a couple of the things he said he's going to, I mean, this Twitter was going wild with this, Tom. This should be a figure it out segment in itself. Said, yeah, teams are never really able to prepare for us because we have our 3 running back system, and teams have to prepare for all 3 running backs, and we might have to give CP, he's talking about Cordell Patterson, some extra carries. And then somebody asked him a question. He goes, "You guys don't understand anything. You guys don't understand how things really operate. None of you do." That's literally a direct quote from him. And then another thing, somebody asked him, Tom, about the Bijan thing, like, "Hey, why didn't you report it?" I think that's a pretty fair question. He said, quote, "I haven't given 1 second of thought about the Bijan thing. We are not going there. Titans coming up is a big game." They continue to ask him, "Why didn't you report it? Why didn't you report it?" He goes, "Ask me something else." He goes, "You want to talk about climate change? You want to talk about politics?" He literally started just ranting about some bullshit. I can't stand him. Good for him. He's 4-3, Tom. I just cannot stand Arthur Smith. Here's one of my last things. Like, the NFL right? Sponsors. Who are they sponsored by, Tom? Is it DraftKings? Is it sport? Whatever the sport, like they sponsor and literally promote gambling, but then they allow somebody to lie about an injury report and not be totally transparent about it. Anybody that bet the Falcons was probably pissed, even though they won the game. Anybody with Bijan in any type of bets, anybody with fantasy football, that's like half their damn followers. Like, it's just unbelievable. Like, he's trying to zig when they zag. Like, fine. Congratulations, Arthur Smith. Like, do whatever you got to do. But good luck in the future if you do make the playoffs, drawing up plays for Tyler Algier and Jonnu Smith and Scotty Miller and Carterell Hodge. Like, I need to shut my mouth, Tom, because I'm getting fed up here. We're gonna transition here because you know what? I think I might do a whole episode on Arthur Smith because I can't stand it. But we are here to analyze injuries. Austin Ekeler, full practice Wednesday, so things are looking up for him. But minor ankle, what is that? Obviously not a high ankle sprain. I'm assuming he seems like he's doing okay. But what's up with Ekeler?
This was a very minor lateral ankle sprain to the other ankle, not the one that he had the high ankle sprain earlier this year. He sat out a few plays, but was able to come back and finish the game. Again, when these sprains are so minor that there's no loss in stability of the ligaments, it's really just like, can you get the pain under control? Which, if he was able to return to the game, definitely under control. Full practices this week, not a problem, not a concern. Running backs do average a decline of about 10% fantasy production when they return from this injury. But again, this is such a minor injury that it's not likely to affect his bottom line. And he's such a high scorer anyway that even if he did score 10% points less, it's still a lot of points.
Lock to play, slow 2 weeks, coming back from his injury, but he's firmly in your lineup this week. He plays the Bears, which surprisingly, the 2-5 Bears are 5th in the NFL against the rush, 29th against the pass, but I don't think there's a world where you are sitting Ekeler. Our last player here, and then we'll get into some other guys, Tom. Our last main player, I guess, to talk about a lot is Ken Walker. Calf, a DNP Wednesday. Guy's having a hell of a season, too, 16.3 points, but this was kind of a newer one. We just added him late edition. What's up with Ken Walker?
Didn't practice Wednesday. As of our recording right now, we don't have Seattle's practice reports yet for Thursday. But let's think about the calf. It's a pivotal muscle for acceleration and for sprinting, and it just highly involved, especially for a running back. We interestingly don't, on average, see a dip in fantasy production in running backs. However, only 25% of running backs meet or exceed their pre-injury baseline in that first game after a calf injury. Now, that sounds crazy. How is it such a low percentage that meet it, but the average is unaffected? Well, Josh Jacobs went absolutely nuts last year after a calf injury. Jeff Wilson a few years before, same thing. Ezekiel Elliott. There's 3 key outliers. Everybody else has struggled after a calf injury. Now, Walker is really, really good, though. So he may be one that could be that outlier. And with how many injuries we have and the running back landscape not being great, if he's playing, you're still playing him. Even if he does see a little bit of a hit in his production, it's still going to be better than what most other players can give you. Re-injury rates, obviously a threat there as well. But again, in this game we play, sometimes you got to take risks.
You sure do. What percentage would you put that he doesn't? Really tough question, but what percentage would you put that he doesn't play this week, Ken Walker? Or do you think he plays? What do you think?
I would say at this point, I don't have enough information to make an educated decision there. I would just be guessing. As soon as we get the Thursday practice report, that will give us a lot more info. So if he doesn't practice at all Thursday, I'm getting really concerned. If he does even just a limited practice, then my concern level is going way down.
Okay. Because while you were talking, I went to every league, literally. Go check the YouTube video, guys, because you could see me on my phone. I went to see if Charbonnet was available just because I was like, I don't know what's going on here. And he's pretty much taken in all leagues. But if you're listening to this, you get the report on Thursday that Ken Walker does not practice. Listen, Charbonnet hasn't done much this year, but of course he'll be worth the pickup. But, we'll see how that goes. All right. Any other players, Tom, that we are monitoring besides for those guys we've discussed?
We got quite a few, actually. Debo obviously is out again as he's still dealing with that hairline fracture in his shoulder. Roshan Johnson just cleared the concussion protocol and will play this week. He will join Donta Foreman, who just went off in that Chicago backfield. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Luke Musgrave, ankle, has not practiced Wednesday or Thursday. He's not one that we're considering starting anyway. Zay Jones is having a really hard time getting over this knee injury. That tells us that it's a little bit more severe than guys like Christian Watson, who we talked about earlier. Chris Godwin, not Chris Godwin, Baker Mayfield, who will have already played by the time you guys are listening to this. Yep. Zay Jones's knee injury is obviously more severe than theirs. Didn't practice again on Thursday. Josh Palmer is dealing with the knee injury as well. Did not practice Wednesday or today, Thursday. That's one to continue to monitor. He's been playing okay in that elevated role with Mike Williams out. Juju
That's concerning to me. Sorry to cut you off, man. That's concerning to me. Here I am again on my team. The no practice Thursday. I need him, Tom. But thank you for that insight.
Yeah, that's one that's concerning me too. But also, is this potentially Quentin Johnston's week to break out?
Oh,
hopefully,
God.
maybe.
I don't have the balls to start him.
No, most people probably don't. But I'm thinking about like a dart throw in DFS, maybe. Continue here. Juju, clear concussion protocol. He'll play. Daniel Jones still dealing with that neck injury, not looking like he's going to play this week. Looks like it will probably be Tyrod again. Tannehill with that high ankle sprain. They've already said that Levis and Willis are going to split time, with Levis being the primary quarterback. And this one's interesting. Deontay Johnson, who returned from the IR after that hamstring injury, practiced in full on Wednesday, did not participate today, Thursday. I'm interpreting that as it's the maintenance day. We haven't heard anything otherwise, but obviously look out for news to see if that is anything more than just a maintenance day.